Okay, so let's jump in. We have a lot of content today, so I always speak pretty fast, but today may even be faster. This is all the things we're covering today, so this is our agenda, if you will. All right, so the first thing we're going to start in, how many of you were here last year? Decent number. Okay, how many of you were here 2 years ago? A few, okay. So last year, we talked a lot about AI. And ironically, for the few of you who were here 2 years ago, does anyone remember what I talked about regarding AI during the keynote? I showed 3 headshots, and I asked people to guess which one AI helped make. It seems so quaint. There was no talk of how we would apply AI to e-commerce. I think we knew something was coming, but we really didn't know what to pronounce. All we were really saying is that, hey, AI is going to be a game changer. Last year, I made a bunch of announcements. And so we talked about, this isn't AI specific, we talked about how e-commerce had rebounded from COVID and was going to be back to growing at a clip, and I actually understated it last year. So, I had said it was like 12 or 13% of online retail or total retail in America for D2C. It's now closer to 17%. 5.1% growth last year, and a lot of room to grow. And Black Friday, Cyber Monday was another record breaker. In addition, we talked about how AI was really going to start replacing legacy search. That it was so self-evident, at least to me and Miva, that this was a game-changing technology, that we had gone from kind of no search 30 years ago to relational MySQL style search to Elastic Solr style search, and now AI was really the ultimate product for this. And it's growing really fast. Like, it has not necessarily been a direct wholesale replacement, including with our own product. It has been more of a blend, but it is a game changer for businesses to use AI for product discovery and search. Same with AI merchandising and margin-aware commerce. How many of you guys have used Amazon Rufus? Some of you, I'm sure. You may not even know you've used it. It's the little chatbot in the Amazon app on your phone. We don't know for sure that Amazon's using margin awareness, but I have a pretty good hunch that they're promoting things that make them the most money. And then next is agentic commerce, right? I think we all have this sense that soon we will all have an agent doing things on our behalf. Have many of you used Claude Code or Cowork yet? So if you haven't, I'll ask that you wait till tomorrow at 2 p.m. when the event's over, but download Claude Desktop. It works better on a Mac now, but they're working on both. And get Claude Cowork. It is an absolute game changer for everything you do in business. And it is coming. We're not really at a world where agents are shopping on your behalf yet, but we'll talk about that. And ultimately, we believe, and we think this is what's going on in the market, that people want a unified commerce platform. And what I mean by that is something that is a true source of truth for your data that can help you make great commerce decisions. And AI data insights and prompt-driven analytics. And so ultimately, if you take all of these predictions in total, I actually, speaking of Claude Cowork, I had it watch my keynote from last year, because I hate watching my own videos back. And I had it grade my predictions, and this was the grade. And so it said I got an 8.5 out of 10 on my predictions from last year. And so what? Like, who cares that I said something last year that was reasonably true? How it applies to you and your business is really because this is what is informing our product direction. And so you're so busy in your day-to-day, we all are, that, yeah, some of you might be tech geeks like myself and you want to play with AI. I tend to play with it. I tend to play with the interesting stuff outside of my normal workflow on the weekends when my daughter's napping. But that's because it's like a hobby for me. But for you, you are just running your business and you have a million things. You have family, you have business, you have social responsibilities, you have all of the things that take up a day-to-day life. And you need a partner who's protecting your business and watching where it's going. And so we believe that that's what we're building for you. Agentic commerce, structure, margin-aware commerce, and a batteries-included platform. So let's talk about how that shows up in the real world. So I talked about how last year Miva merchants had a record Black Friday. And so let's just take a quick one-slide look. Overall market was up 3% on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, $78 billion in sales. Our customers were up 8% year over year, which was 2.7 times larger than the market whole. And we just really think it's because our merchants take success seriously. And we're not responsible for their success, but we're trying to make sure you have the tools and the platform necessary to enable that success, ultimately. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on in e-commerce in general. We've been selling online since the 90s. Okay, and then if you leave your hand up if you're from the 90s, what about from the early 2000s? And then from the 2010s, right? So the group gets bigger and bigger. I was hanging out with Jeff from JBugs last year sometime, and he's like, do you remember when e-commerce was exciting? And sorry, Jeff, if I outed you for that comment, but I was like, yeah, I do, but I feel like it's gonna get exciting again. And so this is what we're going to look at here, which is what's really going on in the world of e-commerce. Well, currently, direct-to-consumer sales are $1.25 trillion in the US. 8.6% year-over-year growth is the expectation for this year. And here's what's really crazy. Business-to-business commerce is now 8 times bigger. So it's a little over 10 trillion in online sales. 84% of the top B2B sites are exploring AI adoption. But the more interesting number on this slide is that 61% of business shoppers prefer to not talk to a salesperson. Now, I think intuitively we'd always, I don't want to talk to a salesperson either. No one wants to talk to a salesperson. But so many B2B companies have been reticent to let their salespeople out of the loop and let their digital platform take over. And if you're not figuring that out, even having a dual path, 61% of your customers are currently annoyed with you. And so it's really something to think about. So if you look at this across 3 dimensions, D2C is currently expected to have a 10.5% compound annual growth rate for the next 5 years, and only 17% of online retail, 17% of retail is currently online. So there is a lot of growth ahead for e-commerce. Like I was talking to someone last night here at the cocktail reception. This should blow your mind if you don't already know this. TikTok Shop, which didn't exist 2 years ago, now has more sales than eBay. Just think about that. Now, TikTok Shop's not for every product, and there's all sorts of asterisks I could give you with that, but it has more sales than eBay. This is something that did not exist to do at all 2 years ago. So there is a lot of opportunity in e-commerce, and you just always have to be in the game. B2B, like I said, is 8x bigger. B2B buyers expect digital buying, and I would say if you are a B2B customer who has an outdated or God forbid, no B2B buying path, you are in a bad position, and you need to take action quickly. And then as far as AI, most top retail experts are exploring it. 33% of top sites have fully deployed it, and they're seeing a 4x higher conversion rate for their AI products. Now, what do I think this means for us in the mid-market e-commerce community? We are in the middle of a shift from AI-assisted. And what I mean by AI-assisted is I'm going to use, and this doesn't mean the AI assisted is going away, but AI assisted is going to use things like, well, it's even things like search, right? AI is assisting in search and product discovery. It's things like freshening up your product descriptions. Those are assists. It's sort of like one of those pull-up machines where it gives you like a little boost. That's what AI assisted is like. And we are switching, we are in a market transition to AI native. And so what do I mean by AI native? AI native is where LLMs are the primary surface for product discovery. Now, I could talk a lot about why I think that's happening, up to and including that Google results have gotten so polluted with ads that we all just want an experience where we can ask something that feels or is an expert and gives us reasonably to very unbiased results. And so LLMs quickly, more quickly than most technological shifts I've seen, have become a product discovery engine. How many of you have used ChatGPT or other to search for a product and find something? I mean, most of the room. Now, we're all e-commerce people, so I would expect that. But here's something crazy. My 73-year-old mother-in-law, she uses ChatGPT to look for products. So like, she doesn't know why she can't log into Hotmail every other day. So like, it's really like, it is not just early adopters when it comes to using LLM for product discovery, and so it is now critical. Making sure you're discoverable on the LLMs is no different than making sure you were discoverable in Google in 2000. And so it is a critical business imperative. Semantic shopping is a key part of it. Ultimately, it'll head to autonomous purchasing agents, and you need an AI-first catalog architecture. So this is where I think we are in the evolution of AI commerce. So AI-enhanced product discovery, that's AI-assisted. That's products like Vector, but we're not the only product in the market. There is a lot of, all of the major search and merchandising platforms have started layering in AI for this. And you even see it on Google. I mean, Google started to fix its crappy results by giving you Gemini answers, and the Gemini answers are pretty good. LLM brand and product discovery, which is what we just talked about. This is people having a chat conversation with their chatbot of choice. And this is really emerging, but it's emerging fast. Like, I think by the end of this decade, it will not necessarily replace Google, because Google's in that race too, but it'll have replaced traditional Google-style search. Chat-based checkout. We'll be talking a lot about that today. And what that means is you find the product in a chatbot and you're able to check out there. Early adopters are doing that now. There's not a ton of traction yet, but we'll see that in action. And then ultimately where this is all going is agentic commerce, which is the ability, as we build trust with these systems, to let it take action on your behalf. And so, yes, you can use OpenClaw to do agentic checkout right now, but it's a pretty rare use case as far as your market goes, but it's coming. And so ChatGPT announced its instant checkout product back in September of 2025. And then since then, Google has done the Universal Commerce Protocol, and Stripe and PayPal have done their agentic commerce protocols, which we'll be talking about again here today. And so the tools, the infrastructure for agentic commerce is being solidified right now, even if the extensive agentic checkouts that are self-acting are still a bit off. And so where does AI impact your business? In merchandising, in analytics, in customer support, and in marketing. These are all 4 categories that today you can make your business more efficient and more effective. How many of you are doing one of those 4 categories and using AI right now to improve your business? And that's a pretty decent number of people in this room. And so, and the thing that I say to Kiefer and my other business colleagues who are kind of exploring the frontier of AI with me as far as how it impacts e-commerce, every time I discover something that's new and mind-blowing like Claude Cowork, I also tell myself, we're in the earliest of the early days. Next year, like 2 years ago, I was talking about how it made my photo look a little better. Last year, I was like, yeah, it's gonna help fix Elasticsearch. This year, I'm telling you, it's changing your business. And so just be aware of that and be ready to catch a new wave. And so how does Miva fit in all this? Ultimately, we have an ERP primitive or ERP-first architecture that's designed to take all of your data into a singular place to give you commerce decisioning. And us having our apps installed, pre-installed, so that you don't need 10 or 20 apps just to get a basic store up, allows you to have a more complete AI data surface, which is really a critical piece for where we're going. Because what's happening, if you're an investor or following the news, when Claude Cowork came out, it erased whatever it was, $700 billion in market value because investors thought, oh my gosh, software is not gonna exist anymore. I actually, since I'm in the game of predicting the future right now, I'm gonna tell you, I don't believe that at all. Software has a very deep place in our society as far as creating the orchestration layer for what happens. But I do believe this, software is changing. 30, 40 years ago, all you had to do was take something that was a human manual process and create a workflow for it that was very rigid. And as time went on, the workflows became point and click and configurable. But we're perhaps infinitely away from my mother-in-law writing her own software using AI. But we are very close to all of these softwares becoming protocols where, thanks Kyle, where it's not really about the web page anymore. And I'm not suggesting the web page is going away, but I'm saying really the meat and potatoes of what's going on right now in AI is it's making mission critical software a protocol for interacting with the AI agents to create outcomes. So that is the paradigm you should really be thinking about as we move into 2026 and beyond when it comes to AI native software and AI native e-commerce. So with that, I'm gonna introduce Brennan, Heidi. You guys all know Brennan? Where you at, Brennan? So I'll be back up in a little bit, but thank you very much. Brennan, you're up.
Which big one? Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Camp Miva. Welcome back, or if it's your first time, welcome. I get the privilege to talk about all the fun, exciting product releases that our team has worked on the past year. So we're going to talk about everything that's currently out, everything that we did in the past year. And it starts with our biggest, most successful product launch we've ever done, and that is Vecture. So Vecture is our AI search and merchandising engine, and it leverages the power of AI to give your customers more relevant, more context-aware, more intent-based search results, right? So it's going away from just a keyword match and saying, what does this customer, what do they actually mean? What are they actually looking for? It has a layer of intelligence that we've all seen with AI, and just the end goal, the end result is your customers get better search results, which leads to higher conversion rates, and what you guys care about, it leads to more revenue, right? More money in your pocket. So with Vecture, it's smarter, leverages the latest technology that Rick talked about, the vector databases that are becoming more and more standard. It's fast. So the problem with third-party search providers today, right, is that you have to take your product catalog data, you have to export it into a feed, you send it off to them, right? They have to parse that data, they have to index that data, and when things change, so a product price change, inventory changes, you're running a promotion, all that data needs to go from your Miva store up to this third party. The other part to it is anytime someone searches for something, it has to go through the internet, right? It makes a request to that third party. They have to do the search and it sends the results back, right? So there's that latency of going across the web to get that data. With Vecture, everything's local, right? The vector database lives within your Miva store, your Miva server. It's going straight to the server. Everything's much, much faster. And it's private, right? It's your data. You're not having to ship your data off to some third party. That data lives locally on your Miva server. It's built in. There's no plugins. And it works with all the existing features and facets that are part of Miva search today, right? So a customer can search for some phrase, some keywords, and it's able to give them the results, and then they can use the filter by brand, filter by all the filters, all the refinements that you already have today. It just works. So let's take a look. I have a short video. Perfect.
Hey everyone, Rick Wilson here, CEO of Miva. For the next couple minutes, I want to show you some really cool features of our current platform. It's our new advanced search called Vecture Search. It's naming the platform as the first element of a larger family of AI capabilities. Vecture is designed to address some of those frustrating pain points in online e-commerce site search. One of the pain points is zero search results. Over 30% of the time that happens in the traditional e-commerce site search today. With Vecture, we eliminate that problem. So let's look at a real world impact. On next journey, this is how much faster and more complete it is with Vector. So I'm gonna start with gifts for my wife, and you're gonna see it gives me actual practical gift results, right? And none of the other keywords. This is all intent. This is figuring out what words it's matched. One of the things that makes Vector special is it's on platforms within our platforms, not third-party service, and makes it much less fragile and much faster, much easier to configure. So to sign up and enable Vector on your site, go to miva.com/Vector, talk to your Miva account manager, or call us at 1-800-608. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos about Vector and growing your online business.
Awesome. So some really cool stuff, right? You can do so much stuff. One thing we learned as part of the process is that it's not perfect at everything, right? When you're searching for a single SKU, one string for a particular part number, it wasn't perfect. And so what we did is we layered in the traditional relational database search, right? I'm searching for a particular SKU, a particular product code. I know what I'm looking for. And we actually blend both of those together. So you get the AI search results alongside the relational, so that if a customer knows exactly what they're looking for, they get the best of both worlds. So let's see how that works.
Hi everyone, Chris Wilson, CEO of Miva here. Today, I want to focus on how Vector can not only eliminate zero search results, but how it can improve the overall quality of what your customers see and experience. As you all know, even to deliver halfway decent search results, you and your team have to spend countless hours doing things like reviewing search results, writing most effective product descriptions, coming up with all the keywords, synonyms, and misspellings your customers are likely to use. Getting that right at point time is hard enough. Maintaining this near impossible. Even with Elasticsearch's quality is still suboptimal, and the time investment is easy. Another challenge with e-commerce sites is when you have a large product catalog of beauty sets, natural language product names, descriptions, and landing markers. We developed a groundbreaking blended search algorithm and tuning tools to address exactly this, allowing you to accurately identify whether it's a part number or needs proper fitting, ensuring you promote the most relevant results at the right time for your customers. With Vector, all that work can be automated by far more effortlessly by the system than by people. After some initial tuning, the platform is basically on the cloud, continuing seeing what customers want and what they do and providing incredible search results. There's virtually no need for human involvement. You can audit, spot check, or tune anything Vector is doing at any time. During Vector data, we saw average daily sales increase between 10 and 97% across our data participants. Drastically improving the quality of search results, as well as eliminating zero results, is something that you can do today. To get started, follow the instructions on the screen below to start increasing your sales right away.
Awesome. So really powerful stuff, amazing search engine. And what we did is we took it to the next level. So we have this great vector search based off AI. We said, how can we leverage that to build out merchandising tools, right? Showing the right products, upsell, cross-sell to your customers at the right time. And so we built this merchandising engine that layers on top of Vector, and it's prompt-based. And so you can say, okay, I'm going to create a prompt, show me the best related products for what's in my cart, what the customer's looking at, or what category they came from. And you can get you know your products best, so you can get very granular, and you can create different prompts for different types of products. So maybe on the product page, you have a certain prompt versus one on the storefront versus one on the basket page. And so we give you control to be able to create these prompts. And then once you have that, you take those products and you can show them anywhere you want. So let's see how vector merchandising works.
Hi everyone, I'm Rick Wilson, CEO. Today I want to show you another new capability on our e-commerce platform. It's our advanced AI-powered merchandising. As with search, it's built on Vector technology and native to the platform. The reality is most of you have little time to devote to online merchandising. Vector you cannot find that time. It uses natural language models and our no-code content management system to tell the platform what you want to promote and how. So let's take a look at how merchandising works. It all starts with simple. Here's one option. They can be simple or they can be complex. In this case, it's assuring products the shopper will be interested in buying and the following item in their cart. Do not show the same product or variations of that product. And if there's nothing in their cart, show something from this one. Once you've got your prompt out, the next step is to choose the products from your catalog via the app and see the results which you suggest. This is how you choose the outcome to make sure it's exactly what your shopper should see. Once you have the results to your own, you use our no-code page builder there to tune the page to exactly how you want it, no coding required. So here on this example, you can see these results with different versions showing up on the basket page to drive more upsell. You can continue to tweak this prompt or any prompt, create as many as you want, and unlimited scenarios as well. Drastically improving the quality of search results, as well as eliminating zero results, is something that you can do today. To get started, follow the instructions on the screen below and start increasing your sales right now.
Perfect. And one of my favorite parts about that is once you've created the prompt, you can actually easily add it to any page using Page Builder, right? All the Page Builder tools that we've created over the past few years, they all tie into this, and so you can take that product set, those related products, and display it on any page you want. So that is Vector. The next new product we released this year is Miva Pay. And for those of you who have been around a long time, you may be thinking, wait a second, we've had Miva Pay for a decade. Miva Pay is our new payment product built on top of the PayPal rails. The old Miva Pay that you're maybe familiar with, our vaulting engine, allows you to save credit cards, enable subscriptions, enable a credit card wallet. That still exists. It's not going away. We just renamed it. So that's now Miva Pay Vault, and Miva Pay is the right name for our new payment product for credit card payments. And so this allows you to accept credit cards online. It's built on top of PayPal, so you get all the benefit of PayPal Express Checkout, Venmo, PayPal Pay Later. It's simple, it's easy. We sell it, we support it. Onboarding, we want to make it as simple as possible. I do a lot of stuff in the payment space, and some other payment partners we work with, you have to fill out a PDF, and that goes through underwriting, and that takes weeks or months, and it's a process. I'm sure a lot of you have gone through something similar. This can be set up in days, sometimes hours, right? You go through the onboarding process right from within Miva. You log into your PayPal account. It links to your existing PayPal account. You can create a new one if you don't already have one, and everything just works. Very simple, very easy. And it's a best-in-class checkout experience, right? We wanted to take everything that PayPal offers, all the express checkout buttons. You can display those anywhere on the site, and of course the credit card payments you can take right on your site. So everything's optimized for desktop and mobile, and it's the easiest to use, best-in-class payment experience on Miva. So if you're interested in this, go talk to PayPal, come talk to Miva. We'd love to chat with you about it. All right, next, Page Builder. So show of hands in the audience, how many people have used Page Builder recently? So I see a lot of hands go up. Page Builder has revolutionized the way you interact with Miva from a content perspective, right? I remember the days where it used to be, if you wanted to create a page, you had to go and add a new page template. You had to copy a template from somewhere else. You had to assign the right items to the page. It was so painful, and Page Builder solves all that. And it adds such a nice layer on top of Miva. You have this whole component library. You can add videos and products and categories to any page. You can take those components, you can schedule them, you can reorder them, you can control the content, you can copy and paste components between pages, and you can build these pages out and then take a snapshot of that page and save it back to your library for the next time you want to create a landing page or a marketing page. You can start from that same template. So all the work that you do to customize and create that page, you can reuse it over and over again, which is really nice. So Page Builder has been incredible. We've gotten so much positive feedback on it, and we're continuing to refine Page Builder to add new components to it. Our focus initially was on content and marketing pages and the storefront, but now we've expanded Page Builder to also support the product page. So you can now customize the product page via Page Builder. Again, the same point-and-click tools that you used to. You can add new content, insert custom fields, add tabs to the product page, change the order of the tabs, load in product data. And again, previously that you'd have to be a developer to do any of that stuff, and now it's all at your fingertips with the Page Builder support for the product page. We also did that same thing for the category page, right? These are kind of the last two big sections of Miva that weren't Page Builder enabled, and we made them enabled with Page Builder last year. And so you can do things like show the facets on the category page, change how they display, change the column count on desktop versus tablet versus mobile. Again, all through point-and-click interface settings. Previously, you had to be a developer and go edit the CSS and do all this stuff. So we made it much easier. The benefit to that is you can go in and you can control that. It's faster to build Miva stores, easier to maintain. A lot of benefits from the category and product page components for Page Builder. Automotive fitment, we've had a component for Page Builder for a few years. We've extended it, so now that if you select the year, make, model, or however you're using combination facets for it, on the product page, we give you positive confirmation, yes, this product does fit my year, make, model, and then the list of year, make, models that product fits automatically show up in a list, and you can display that anywhere you want. So you can put it in a tab, you can put it in a pop-up. So we took the data that is already there, we made it easy so customers can be able to see it, and there's a lot of SEO value from having that content on the page as well. Miva Theme Editor. So Miva Theme Editor is like the cousin or brother or sister to Page Builder, right? They go hand in hand. This allows you to globally change the styles of your website. So think like a CSS style sheet. That's what developers would use. This is what a non-technical point-and-click, really easy. So you can change the fonts, you can change button colors, you can change the display headings, breakpoints. All of it are global settings. The problem that this solves is, let's say that you wanted to change the buttons, the button color on your site from black to blue. Well, previously you either had to go edit the CSS, you had to go, even within Page Builder, go edit each individual component. And now with the Miva Theme Editor, you can go in one section, see the global styles, change the fonts, change the colors, change everything you want, and they cascade throughout the entire site. So those global things that should be global, we made global, and we gave it a very nice user interface to be able to easily go and customize it. All right, scheduled tasks. So scheduled tasks is the amazing engine that does a lot of automation of things around subscriptions or feeds or really anything in Miva that needs to run on an ongoing basis. You're probably all familiar with scheduled tasks. There's one big problem with them though. For large sites or a lot of data, let's say you had a feed that you were generating of 500,000 products. Well, that feed may take hours to run sometimes depending on what it's doing to generate that feed. And it would block more important updates from running. So think of it like a traffic jam. And so we updated scheduled tasks last year to have essentially 2 queues, a slow lane and a fast lane. It enables you to say, okay, this feed I'm going to have run over here on the slow lane at these times, but my inventory updates or my price updates I'm going to put over in this queue, and it's going to run separately, totally independent from this other feed over here, not get blocked. It gives you a lot more control over how those things get processed. In addition to that, we added some nice visibility. You can see what's running, what's coming up next, some nice UI updates around scheduled tasks. All right, so everything we do at Miva, we look at it through a lens of speed and performance. So we want the website to be fast, we want the admin to be fast. And one part of that, one small part of that is images, right? Product images, you guys all have a lot of product images. There's a lot of new image formats that have come out over the years. WebP, AVIF is a newer one that we're seeing more and more. And so we've added support for these new modern image formats into Image Machine. That's our image machine. That's our image system that powers images on Miva. It's able to resize them, do all the stuff that we do with images. And so we now have better support for those modern image formats. And what that means is you get faster, you get smaller file sizes, which is faster page load times. It makes Google happy, makes customers happy. All that is native and built into Miva. All right. Integrations. We've had a ton of new integrations this year. We always are focused on building the latest and greatest integrations, everything from a whole new UPS integration. We updated our USPS tax cloud, which was a new tax provider, Avalara. We upgraded the existing integration and built a whole new set of features and functionality around it. Klaviyo for email marketing, T-Force Freight on the freight side. So a ton of new integrations that we built this year. We've also added additional support for integrations we've already had. So new features, functionality, a whole new authentication mechanism for CyberSource, and then some updates around Indicia. So our team has been incredibly busy this year. We've built a ton of new product. And I'm going to bring back up Rick to talk about where we're going in 2026. Thank you.
Am I back up? Yeah. So, you guys awake yet? Okay, so Brennan talked a lot about Vector, but I want to focus. We have 4 case studies. I'm not going to read you a case study. You can see them all online. But I have 4 case studies covering a variety of businesses to give you a sense of the results. So Apex Tool, they're actually here, so you can go bug Fred if you want. But they saw 57% revenue lift in the peak season, 16% year-over-year growth, and they got 5 years worth of ROI in the first month. Similar with Sterling Collectibles, they were during the beta process kind of the top end of our success, but they've seen a 38.8% increase in total sales, similar number in orders. But what's incredible about this business is that they sell effectively silver-style Christmas ornaments. And so if you can imagine what it's like running that business, you sell a lot between like October 15th and December 15th, and then your business really slows down. And so they saw incredible results. Woodworker Source, so kind of B2B, kind of D2C. Imagine you're looking for wood online, and so they saw a 30% increase over their baseline, and ultimately it really saved them a lot of time as well as making them a lot more money. And then last but not least in our case studies, CRFs Only and Tokyo Mods. They're in the auto business. Normally during the October-November timeframe, they see a dip in their business, normally down about 1% because of their peak season not being in the holidays. What they saw was a 3x increase in sales volume and overall a 14% lift, causing them to have a huge economic rebound during their slow period of the year. And so the takeaway from all this is I've had both Miva, non-Miva analysts, investors. I've been like, well, I thought you guys do B2B. Who cares about search and B2B? It's like, well, our first case study was largely a B2B customer. Like what we've seen here is people have these buckets that they put concepts into, and they're like, oh, well, if you're on Amazon, this is gonna matter, but it's not gonna matter for a small store or a B2B store. And what we think these case studies definitively prove is that that's just frankly BS. Every single one of these case studies across B2B, D2C, seasonal shows an increase in their business in a critical way. And so that's what we've seen with Vector so far. Right now, we should have a different speaker up, but he's sort of has a back problem right now. So Jay Krupp, how many of you have had a chance to meet Jay or talk to Jay? A few of you, hopefully. So Jay is our new head of services and account management, but he is in New Hampshire because he was not going to get on a plane with his back situation. And so I'm going to do his slides for him. So, we had an internal discussion. Well, if we call it a reboot, we're sort of acknowledging that something was broken. And yeah, something was definitely broken in our services department. So we heard you. The problems we were facing were long time for scoping, expensive open-ended scopes, long time to get the thing done. So things in simple shorthand were slow and expensive. And how many of you really like slow and expensive? That's what I thought. And so, so really, Jay came on board in June of last year. He had worked previously with another gentleman you'll meet today, as well as one of our board members. And so Jay really understands, like, in his DNA, how to kind of build a services organization. And so the focus really is delivering value at speed and scale. If I want something done anywhere, whether it's getting my oil changed, or getting something fixed on my website, implementing a new thing, I want it fast and I want it to be affordable. I mean, it's pretty logical. And so Jay really rethought our whole delivery model. And he wanted to create a world of frictionless delivery where we're really a strategic partner for you, and that we're focused on your success, right? Like, I know you guys like us, I think, but at the end of the day, you're not here for your health, or maybe, but you're here really to have a successful business, right? You all became entrepreneurs for a variety of reasons, but my experience with entrepreneurs is they want to have some control over their life and their work and do something they find interesting, and they really don't want to go work for a big corporation. And so all of those things mean that for us to be the right partner for you, we have to help focus on your success. And so we've really structured our internal rallying cry or paradigm to be about what can we do for you today and tomorrow to grow both sales and margin. Like, that is what we're focused on in our services team and our account management team. And one of those things was, I would actually say a foundational thing, was depending on when you came to Miva. If you came to Miva more than 2 years ago, really more than a year ago, builds were usually sourced out to a third party. And we're one or two of those third parties this year, and we appreciate all that work. But there was a disconnect. It was like a baton relay where the baton was being dropped. So you'd have an unclear statement of work, you'd have an unclear timeline, and so we really said, hey, let's rethink this whole thing. After Page Builder came out, my staff can tell you, I was, depending on where you are on my staff, you heard varieties of my rants. But like, we got to a place where I'm like, I know for a fact I should be able to hire someone from Fiverr to build a Miva site. And I was being illustrative, not definitive, but we then said, okay, well, we should be the ones to solve that problem, and then we'll share this information with anyone who wants to build Miva sites. But really, how do you get a modern Miva site built quickly? Now, I don't mean we're gonna do, you could spend 6 months working on a graphical treatment, but if you're gonna do a page builder-based build, we now can get you there in 30 days. And so we do a kickoff, you spend a week on design, we spend a week on getting your data in there, we spend a week on getting all your configuration set, and then we spend a week QAing and getting you live. And so this is our go forward paradigm, and there's two use cases for this. One is for new customers, because much like fast and affordable versus slow and expensive, customers coming to you to get a website built and want to launch a new site, they really don't want to be told it's going to be in a year, and they don't want to be told it's $500,000, which is what's true on some of our competitors. And so we really focused on that. So first use case is for new builds, but the second use case, how many of you have been on Miva for 10 years or more? So there's a lot of hands. How many of you are like, oh, I love Page Builder, but my site doesn't use Page Builder? Right? So that is the other use case. We can help get you modern quickly, and we really see this as a foundational product. The base price for a Lightning build is $5,000, and so it's an affordable and fast build. And then you're on a modern base, and you can do whatever you want from there. In addition to Lightning builds, going back to open-ended scopes and long periods of time, what people want is they want to come in and what we believe our customers want is they want to come in and they want something done. So we took our most common requests and we turned them into specific solutions. So you can see the list on the left, and we'll post all this and put the video up next week. But waitlist, product reviews, landing page optimization, ADA compliance, et cetera. So there's a list of fixed price services, and then here we've got to focus on what we mean by waitlist. So by configuring a waitlist properly, according to the industry, a 22% lift in conversions and sales for letting someone know the thing that was out of stock is back in stock. And so before, the way this process would have worked is you would have come to us and we would have been like, okay, so waitlist, well, what would you like on your waitlist? And everything was like building a custom home. And we're proud of the custom homes because we have certain customers like Rally House where everything is a custom home. But for the vast majority of our customers, that's just not the case. They're like, I just want my waitlist and I want it to work. And so we've really built these things into fixed price. So in order to get the waitlist configured now, if you're a professional services client, it's either $800 flat or 4 P-Save credits, which I'll talk about in a second. And so what is P-Save? This is effectively, if you've been around long enough to ever be in our MAP program, this is a modern version of the MAP program where you buy credits as part of your contract, you get quarterly allocations of credits, and then you can apply them quickly to things you want done on your website. And so these are just some illustrations of what we're doing, but I really want you to know at the end of the day, the takeaway from this section is if you were a services client in the past 5 or 6 years, we know we got slow, we know we got bloated, and we have really fundamentally rethought that from the ground up. And if, as a CEO, if that's not your current experience, I want to know. So please let me know if we're still not hitting the mark on that, because this is a really, really important thing to me, because I'm here to help you guys become more successful. So with that said, I am going to introduce Bill. So Bill is our new president and CRO. So come on up, Bill. He also worked with Jay previously, so he knows Jay quite well, but he's going to talk about a new initiative since Jay's not here.
Perfect. Thank you, Rick. And great to meet everybody. I look forward to meeting many of you over the next couple of days. This has been a great event so far for me, learning about Miva and learning about its customers. The one thing that you're hearing a lot about in the industry and even here today is about AI, using AI to accelerate, using AI to do things for you. But we still believe in the power of the peer communication, right? Getting people together, talking about issues, and then helping each other with those issues. So one thing we're introducing right now is the merchant success community. With that, we're going to be bringing merchants together, non-competitive merchants together, to talk about what's working, what's not working, and where we can improve and help with growth, right? Whether it's leveraging AI tools, doing things the way we used to do, doing things in a new way, and really brainstorming with those groups. We're just going to moderate it and let the teams work, but the reality is it's a great way to connect with your peer merchants here, and then continue to connect with them over time. So if this is something that interests you, please email us at merchantsuccess@miva.com, and we'd love to work with you on that.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill. Before I kind of keep going, I have a lot of slides today, so I'm talking a lot. I don't know if you guys noticed, but in 2 of those 3 videos Brendan played, I was wearing this exact same shirt, which is a little embarrassing. I looked over at Bill and I'm like, I'm wearing the same shirt. I swear I own more than 2 shirts. Although if I wasn't married, I'd probably really own 2 shirts. So, it's kind of a mixed bag. So let's talk about kind of the competitive market in e-commerce right now. And there's a lot of content on these coming slides. I'm just going to talk quickly about a little bit. So Shopify is kind of the 800-pound gorilla in the e-commerce space. And so really, I would say the biggest takeaways from Miva and Shopify are that if you're going to do B2B, which half of our customers are doing either all B2B or mixed B2B and D2C, you have to be on Shopify Plus, which starts at $2,500 a month. And it's pretty limited. It just is a fraction of what you can do natively, and it's bolted on. It's not a ground up build, where B2B has largely been built native to Miva for such a long time that it's just seamless. And ultimately, I think the biggest complaint we hear when a customer moves to Shopify is the apps, their SEO, like their business is just really struggling. You get some things like people's familiarity with the platform, but really there's a lot of weeds in that grass, and so that's that. When it comes to BigCommerce, BigCommerce a few years ago was someone we bumped into a lot in the market. If you follow their stock, you can probably know that they're struggling a bit. But really, it's B2B is really bolted on there, and you get to a certain amount of sales on your platform, and then they make you rebuild your whole site, and so similar, and they're trying to figure out what they want to be. Many of you have probably used Magento, either even still have a site on it or in the past. We find that Magento is just very complex, very expensive. When I referenced earlier that a site takes $1.5 million, that's who I was talking about. And so we really think that Miva stands out against these players. And last but not least, we see some people who are like, well, WooCommerce is free, and they want to know what the difference is. And like, if you've ever used WooCommerce, man, it's painful. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time here, but the app sprawl, the security updates, you are begging to have issues if you go there. And ultimately it leads to what makes us unique. This is our promise of value. So this is the slide I want to spend a fair amount of time on. Ultimately it's unified B2B and D2C in the same platform. And then you're about to hear a lot about margin-aware commerce. I know that there are people in this room who have much smaller businesses than other people in this room, but the smaller business is the more profitable one. And like, at the end of the day, if you own the business, which part of that do you care about? I know for me, especially now in the age of AI, your ability to just drive a high margin outcome in your business is unprecedented. And we're gonna help you do that on an AI native platform that has a low total cost of ownership, that has virtually every app you could need included, and ultimately really built for who I believe is in this room, which is people doing $1 million to $100 million in online sales. We have some customers doing less, we have some customers doing more, but that's really what we consider our sweet spot. So Kiefer, you wanna join me? I will, yeah, but if you have a question, go for it. No, filibuster while he's coming up.
So I guess I'm just trying to track, I probably raised 10% voting. But you've mentioned this modern platform. Is that what Shadows is? Or
Yeah.
is this a new, have you reframed it to something else?
Page builder?
Yeah, and it says you've got this, we're talking about this modern platform and all the things that you can do on it for the roadmap, but what platform is that on? Is that the Shadows or is that new?
No, it's not new. So that's a great question. So at the end of the day, it's just Miva, as long as you're running the latest version of Miva. So the current latest version, before we get into this conversation, is 10.14? 13?
Something like that.
10.13.04, thanks Nick. So currently, if you're on Miva 10.13.04, you have every feature except for potentially Miva Connect and Vector, you have every feature there is. However, to use those features, let's take Page Builder as the key example. To use those features and make your life easier, you need to make sure you've updated all your templates. And so Shadows is the path to Page Builder. So Shadows and Page Builder are what we call modern, easy to use platform. But I'll be around and we'll be taking some questions at the end as well. So happy to dig more into that. So Kiefer, I will give you the clicker. I'll be up here for color commentary for a bit.
Okay, just be nice.
No, I actually, okay, here's a little inside baseball for you. So I've been friends with Kiefer for 20 some years. I got to be a groomsman in his wedding. I love Kiefer, and he is absolutely a joy to work with. But because we have such a close friendship, and because I like to do a lot of comedy and stuff, as far as I like when people laugh, they're having a better time, and so this is true for staff events too. So I use Kiefer as my straight man a lot, and so I think I've given him a little bit of PTSD. But I just want to tell you that if you've noticed the acceleration in our product development in the last 3 years, if you've noticed how consistent our releases are, how stable they are, he's the man to blame. So
thank you. Just a follow-up on that last question. Sometimes I've heard that, and I also want to reassure that we are committed to Shadows. If you're investing in Shadows and you're investing in a new Lightning build or something to get up to date, that's not going away anytime soon. So our roadmap. Let's talk about our roadmap starting with, let me introduce myself. I'm Kiefer Honeyford. I've been around Miva for an awfully long time. I came back in during COVID when full remote was an option. And I'm Chief Product Officer, and this is my friend, mentor, and therapist at times. Let's talk about our philosophy. Ship what matters, ship it fast, ship it right. Ship it right, it's been a long time since we blew up the world by doing an update. We have really leaned into testing, quality control. Unlike many modern platforms, you don't have to be nervous when you run an update. And that is something that's part of our religion. Ship it fast, when we went through with Brennan, when Brennan went through what we did in 2025, we did a lot of stuff. It's no wonder I'm tired. We did a lot of stuff in 2025. And ship what matters is really what Rick and I spend a whole lot of time talking on. That's why we have a strong vision, that's why we listen to what our customers are saying, and that's why we constantly are looking at what the roadmap is and what is best to do next. So with that in mind, we talked 3 years ago, I was on stage talking about Miva Connect NetSuite, which is a monster, and it's that high end of integration between ERP and e-commerce. Let's not forget about a little piece of software that so many of us run our businesses on, which is QuickBooks Online, which is a great piece of software.
How many of you run your business on QuickBooks Online? So that's a sizable, and then keep those hands up. How many of the rest of people in the room still use desktop, QuickBooks desktop? So QuickBooks is, when we survey our customers, it's about 2/3 of our customers.
It's a lot. So we thought it was time for us to build something natively that can either be just put on the switch and it pushes orders, or it can integrate with workflows. It can seed products up the pipe. It can seed customers. It can bi-directionally sync products, customers. It's pretty powerful if you want it to be, and it's simple if you want it to be too. This is a personalized onboarding product. It starts at $99 a month, and during that onboarding, we will work out how best to integrate the QuickBooks functionality to your Miva store.
You want me to talk about this?
Well, let's just say it was feeling a bit like the Fast and the Furious franchise. Really, really fast and really, really angry.
Well, so I couldn't remember if we were at 10:13 or 10:14, as Nick pointed out.
Search.
And it's 10:13, yeah. And internally, I was like, what are we gonna get to 10.20? We gotta stop the madness. And then we're like, God, Miva 11 sounds terrible. I don't know. Now I got someone else to make fun of on their phone. But Miva 11 just, I don't know, maybe it reminded me of Windows 11, and I wasn't feeling that. So when Apple announced last year, and most people who know me know that I like Apple a lot, but when Apple announced last year that they were moving from iOS 18 or whatever it was to going to the year-based years, I thought that's really clever. And then I started looking around. Salesforce does it, even Shopify does it. And so I was like, okay, this really gives you a great indicator of where you stand. So I'll let Kiefer explain how it's gonna work.
Yeah, we've really nailed things down now to 3 major releases a year. We have a release just after Camp Miva with what we show you at Camp Miva. We have a summer release, and then we have a winter release, fall release before the holiday season. You might have noticed we've also started delivering much more in the interval releases. About once every 5 to 6 weeks, we will have a release, and we're really working to have a good cadence so that if there's something important, we get it to you as quickly as possible. But that's how we're going to roll now. You are going to see 26 release 1 in a few weeks, 26 release 2 in the summer, 26 release 3 before the holiday season, etc.
So let's talk about what's in 26.
Let's talk about what's in it. First of all, this thing called AI. Probably heard of it. This is not a bolt-on. If anybody's taken data out of Miva, I know I've talked to somebody already this morning who's done it. If you take your data out of Miva, throw it at ChatGPT, ask it questions, it can do amazing things, but there can be a lot of data. So we have boiled that, and you're giving it to ChatGPT or Claude. So we have boiled that into the product. You can find insights in real time. You can ask it, what are my best-selling products? You can ask it things like, hey, there's a guy called Bob on the phone from Texas and I can't find his order, where is it? You can really use this as a data AI assistant. It is very fast, it is very powerful, and you can take any of the results you get from that and turn it into a standard Miva report and have that on your landing page for future use. You can edit the settings, but it's also very private and secure. We do not have a huge corpus of all of our customers' data in the same place. It is all firewalled, and anything that goes to AI is a private AI inside a private cloud, not going to the big AI providers.
Let me add a couple things on that. So from an architecture standpoint, if you're familiar with what I'm about to say, great. If you're not, don't worry about it. But we're using Amazon Bedrock as the data processing store, and we're using Claude. And because of that setup, we're able to keep your data private. In addition, if Kyle's using this, it's based entirely on Kyle's data. But if Jeff from JBugs is using it, it's based entirely on his. And there's no world in which they cross. So like Kyle couldn't jailbreak AI insights and learn about Jeff's store and vice versa. But most importantly, from a business owner standpoint, it works with the same user controls that your current store works with. So your employees, if they click on this, can only see the level of data you've given them access to. So if they don't have access to look at orders, they can't look at orders. If they don't have access to look at reporting, they can't look at reporting. And so we've really tried to make it a tool for the CEO without making it a sieve for your data.
So an example, show me the top performing hiking items this month. It knows what your hiking items are. It knows what a month is, and it will give you this data. It will suggest other things you might want to see. And importantly, it has a thumbs up and a thumbs down in the response so that you can let us know what's working and what's not working, because we want to constantly improve this. And what we've found is when we roll out a product, there's a very good chance that you're going to use it differently to how we intended, and that's okay. And that helps us all grow. And then after that, we have a fresh new way that these reports will look.
Thumbs down and have like a comment box?
Yes.
The first iteration I don't think does, but
it does.
Coming. Oh, it does?
Yep,
Oh,
it's
you
done.
keep surprising me. That's great.
Yeah. So a prettier look to our reports. It's been a while since we updated our reports. So we'll be talking more about pretty in a minute.
Also, if you want to see this in action on some demo data, I'll be doing a breakout later today. It's a short breakout, 25 minutes, with a deep dive into this feature. So happy to dig into it with you.
Now, next thing, Rick has already talked about margin awareness, and let's take a pause here. If Rick and I were standing here 21 years ago, in March of 2001, we will be talking about the release.
25 years ago.
What?
It was 25 years ago.
What did I say?
21.
Whatever. So, if we were standing here 25 years ago, if we're standing here in 25 years from now, that kind of thing is more acceptable. Call Kara, give us a blanket. So if we were standing here 25 years ago, we would be talking about the release in July of 2001 and saying, why would you sell somebody 10 products when you only have 3 in stock? And now that is like, duh. So inventory was first rolled out in July of 2001. We have since baked inventory control so deeply into the product, it's just there. We are doing the same thing with margin awareness. Margin awareness is the idea that if you look at 2 products, one might be 10% more margin than the other, or it might be $24 more than the other. And we are baking this into the core of the product, and it will ripple through the entire product. It is ultimately flexible, it is incredibly fast, and it will integrate absolutely everywhere. So when I started looking at this problem, I asked myself, what's a margin, right? We've had the cost field forever, but price minus cost as a margin is really very simple. It's better than nothing.
How many of you guys use the cost field for something other than actual cost? Right, so that's the other
for your upsell or your discount or your downsell. So that was out. So what about if we just make the ability to add a percentage to each product? Does that work? Well, that sounds like a real pain in the neck. So then we thought, what about this is the margin? And we thought, well, it could be, because some people have different intel than others. Some people have an idea of the marketing cost of products, the shipping implications of products.
The ROAS.
That might be, what was that word?
ROAS, return on ad spend.
Fancy. That might be your formula, so why don't we support what's right for you? So we support all of these. You could either point and click and select some easy ways to calculate margin, or you can use template code to create a formula. You might say, hey, look at this custom field that has all our brands or all our partnerships, and if it's this, then it's 12%. If it's this, it's this. If it's default, it's 26. You can do whatever you want, and any signal is better than no signal at all. Really, the most important thing here is working out relative to other products, which has the most margin, so any signal is better than no signal at all. There's 3 breakouts today on margin awareness. I'm doing one of them talking about getting data into Miva, but just get your data into Miva.
So what I was going to say, so Kiefer's showing all the ways you can have Miva calculate your margin, and he's going to do a breakout on getting good data into Miva, including via ERP. That's the other thing. For those of you who are very maybe finance-minded, you might have your margin really nailed, but it's sitting in an accounting system, you can just import it straight from that as well. So,
Yeah,
so
just
we
put
really
it in a
support
custom
everything.
field and say this custom field is the margin. Then our system will in the background create a field which is the dollar amount and the percentage margin so that those are there's no real-time calculation during search. It's just there. It can be ordered on and it can be leveraged. Out of the box, this will be leveraged in several places. If you're using Vector merchandising, you can just say, order these by highest margin first, which makes total sense. If you got similar products, which is what Vector exposes, why not sell the ones that make most money? I mean, duh. Margin-aware collections is a great thing for everybody. If you're gonna create a discount category and offer people 20% off, why not do it on products you have 30% margin on? Like, duh. So there's so much duh stuff as we go through this.
Is that Irish?
I guess it's more American, actually.
Yeah, it probably is.
If you are either Vector or non-Vector and your search results are ordered by relevance, then there's a very good chance the top entries in those search results are all reasonably relevant and that your shopper will see them all anyway. So we give the ability to take a configurable top amount of search results and reshuffle those by margin awareness so that right in their face you're giving them the best margin products. And then AI insights. What are my best selling products next month that have brought in the next margin? Like, that's kind of useful. So you want to add to that? That's good.
I would just say that for the last 30 years in e-commerce, and like, for example, how many of you are familiar with Bonobos, the pant company, right? So Bonobos at one point, I think they may be owned by Walmart or something now, but at one point Bonobos was worth like $2 billion. And then they got sold to Nordstrom for a couple $100 million, and then I think Walmart bought them for like $50 million. But don't quote me on the exact numbers, but those are the right magnitudes. So they went from being a multi-billion-dollar valuation to selling for about 10% of that, to then again selling for a third of that. And the reason was, that was the goal at the time. There was this concept in the mid-aughts that you just gotta go get all the customers. And it was sort of like the South Park sketch. You're gonna get the underpants, and then you don't know what you're gonna do, and then you're gonna profit. And what happened was the focus on growth at all costs was causing these businesses to be perceived as being incredibly valuable. And then when it looked to find buyers for them, actual traditional businesses that care about a little thing called profit, like, yeah, I'm not paying that. And so if you're not currently thinking about how to maximize profit in your business, now, I'm not saying maximize it above good products or maximizing it above good customer experience, but I'm saying if you at the end of the year say, oh, I grew 25% last year at the top line, but you're not questioning how much profit you grew, that's the paradigm shift we're really trying to encourage here. And I think these tools are gonna help you do that in just really a new way.
Thank you. So I talked about reporting, having a refresh, but wait, there's more. When did we release 10?
Oh, 10 was real, Nick? I think it was Brennan. Yeah.
2020. So it's been 5 years we've been building on the same UI. I want to reassure you, when you go into the new UI,
It's not an
you
AI
will not
UI,
be like,
it's just an admin.
where is everything? This is an incremental improvement. This is a tidy up. This is a refresh. This is some great improvements that those of us who have been using it for the last couple of months in testing just go, it's just nice.
I've only been using it for like a week or so, and it really, it took me maybe 5 minutes to kind of get my sea legs, and then it's like, wow, I don't want to go back to the old UI. In fact, when I log back into my demo store that's not on 26R1, that's on like the public release, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and in part it was created because, is this gonna laser? We have the little button for the AI assistant on the right, which slides out like many AI assistants do. And then we had to rethink a whole lot of stuff. So we thought, well, let's just make this better because there are things you've been telling us and things that have been bugging us that just feel like a bit of a bolt on. So more streamlined menu. You can see just a nicer way that we introduce submenus, a nicer way that we collapse menus. AI assistant comes out on the right. And then just some really cool, nice little things. Anybody who works a lot with branches, you can get kind of confused about what branch you're on. We've solved that because the top menus are more consistently messaging where you are and what you need to know, standardized across both modals and full pages. Then a really nice little touch. Anytime that you're trying to find fields to add to a batch list or something where there's a whole lot, it's just a nice single column with a search at top, just really nice, slight improvement, won't surprise you, the people working for you won't go, can't find anything, and just general all cleanup and just tidy up, and we're super proud of it. It's much more consistent, and it just has that feeling of freshness. Good enough?
Great.
On what the shoppers experience and page builder, Brendan talked about the theme editor. The theme editor, when it rolled out, it was mostly to do with styling rippling down through Flex components with capability to ripple those through into your static pages. We are constantly now taking steps to make it so that anything you change in theme editor ripples through the entire Shadows framework. And we've made a big steps on that. It goes through account, checkout, Miva Pay, wish lists, static pages, and more. Now, I'll talk to Rick talk about a problem that everybody needs to solve.
So how many of you have had a client tell you that they didn't get their package and they expect you to send a new one, and it's your financial problem, not theirs? So most of you. And so this is some data we got from our partner at UPS. They're also here if you want to talk to them. They are the insurance experts. Much like fulfillment, when I dig into insurance, it's definitely an iceberg, and I'm like, okay, I got to get out of here. But I will tell you that these numbers I buy totally. So 3/4 of consumers, they're like, hey, am I going to get the thing? It's going to be right. I've had a problem with delivery. I've had something stolen on my porch. It showed up broken. And then similar percentage of merchants. They're like, this is causing me time and more importantly money. And then almost 3/4 of merchants say they have to pay out of pocket sometimes for these problems. And so the other part to all this that matters is that half of consumers just assume, without discussing it with you, that if there's a problem, it's your problem. And so InsureShield, we've seen a real rise in, have you seen people start offering insurance in checkout recently? I've seen it in the last 6-12 months a lot. And so I'll let you talk to UPS directly about the fast claims payout. This is not just for UPS shipments, this is multi-carrier. And so we think this is great, but let's look at how it works.
Yeah, really importantly, this is a really tight relationship we've created with UPS that makes it just very, very simple. You do not need to go to UPS and create a policy with them. I don't know insurance terms. If they start dashing to the stage,
we're not saying it
because legal have not.
There's a lot of legal around.
There's a lot of legal, but you don't have to go and create your own policy. You get underwritten. You are underwritten under the Miva account. It's as simple as accepting the terms of service, and an offering is offered to your shoppers. They opt in to buy insurance. It's very affordable, like $1 per 100, minimum $3. They pay for the insurance. You collect that as part of the order. As soon as tracking number is added to that order, that quoted policy becomes a complete policy, and we will bill you monthly for anything that is completed. No fees, no extra charges.
Not recurring monthly, just at the end of the month.
Just whatever you collected and closed. We will collect that from you. So you can turn this on in minutes. It's a no-brainer way to pass on this risk to your customers who are willing to pay it. And personally, I just find it a no-brainer. If I'm offered a $3 to $5 insurance for anything, it's just like, sure. I say more features to come. Clearly, there are many ways we can go with this that we're exploring. UPS have other great tools. We're looking at ways that you could voluntarily buy insurance if customers don't, ways that you could force customers to buy insurance on certain products or in certain situations. So this is the start of a roadmap of a product integration with UPS.
Awesome.
Good. Okay. Native in charges must have been 2024, I guess.
Oh, core charges?
Yeah.
Brendan, was core charges 24?
Must have been.
Okay.
So we've improved this based on feedback. There are many times, in summary, there are many times that you want to say, hey, I want to be competitive. This is a, what's that number? $8,190 product. You don't want to say that it costs an extra $2,900, even though in this kind of world, if you don't give them the core, the engine back that you have, it costs more. So there are various places in e-commerce that you want to say, even if somebody has to pay $120 because $20 is an environmental fee, you want to say it's a $100 product because that makes you competitive.
I mean, like I said earlier, like Apple, it's not just Apple, but like if you buy a new computer or maybe even the phone, but definitely if you buy a new Mac, there's like an 8% environmental fee on each order, but they don't list that in the price of the Mac on the webpage. It's just in checkout, and you could use this for that.
Linux don't do that, I don't think, do they?
Yeah, Linux don't like communists, man.
So this has been out for a while. It's in great use. It's very easy. Like you can set up, say this environmental fee is $20, and then apply it to every product in this collection, and it all just works, and it shows up nicely separately in the basket. And if they delete the product, it's removed from the basket. It's really great. A new twist on it is, let's say you're selling printable something. Like say you're printing t-shirts and there's a setup fee of $50 regardless of how many items are bought. Now we can have a single fee regardless of how many items, so like a setup cost like that. Additionally, I don't know if you've been watching the news recently, but fee as a percentage of price.
Yeah, how many of you have noticed your import and duties this year have been kind of up, down, all around, right? So I can't predict geopolitical issues, but I can say this. This allows you to solve for that, so that if when you ordered something from overseas and the price changed before it got to you because of duties, you can just bake that in using this system without having to go do a detailed export and import, et cetera.
Yeah, like create a collection of all the products that are for a certain country with a source of origin that is a custom field, and then apply a number to that. And if the number changes next week, like why would I don't know. If the number changes next week, you can change that. So it's really been interesting how people have dealt with tariffs, but we're just giving you options to deal with it in the way that you want to. So that is release 26 release 1, we call it R1, and that is coming at the end of March. That is in testing right now. It's really solid. We've got AI insights and reporting, page builder theme editor updates, margin awareness, UPS Church Shield, AI fresh, new look and feel, and discount fee improvements. But wait, there's more. So we are putting more and more into sub-releases. This should follow 4 to 6 weeks after R1. We're aiming for end of April. Talking about people not using the software as we like, you will be able to exclude products from search, because we know over the years some of you have come up with really creative ways to use a product entity in Miva, like for fees, for example, and then a customer buys 4 fees, and you're like, that's really weird. So
or free add-on in basket, and they just go order the free add-on in basket.
So long requested functionality, exclude products from search.
And this will work with regular search or vector. This just works at the search layer, not the analysis layer.
Google Pay and Apple Pay native to Miva Pay. You will see us more and more. We have more bandwidth to focus on the exciting stuff. If we can focus on adding things like Miva Pay and Google Pay and Apple Pay to Miva Pay, so that you will see us more and more focus new offerings into Miva Pay. Say that properly.
Google Pay and Apple Pay into Miva Pay?
Yeah.
And Sally doing seashells or something?
Something like that. Something like that. Also FedEx shipping. It's FedEx's turn to completely rebuild their shipping system, and that just does the same thing as the last one.
Yeah, we are. I try to explain sometimes to our investors, like, well, what's new? What's new about UPS or USPS or CyberSource or whatever? Like, oh, nothing. It's just the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just there's a cycle of API elimination, and then you rebuild the API on something new.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're here, to make sure that all you have to do is click some buttons to upgrade it.
So FedEx watched USPS recently and said, wait a minute.
Hold my
Like
beer.
UPS did this 2 years ago and we haven't done it yet. So everybody gave UPS $20 on the way out the door and tell them just wait a few years because it's their turn next.
No, they just did it.
No, that was a couple of years.
Hopefully.
But it was great.
Yeah, it's great.
It was great, but it's FedEx's turn. We were a little bit surprised. We're cranking this out in April. We've had assurances from them that they won't cut any of our customers off on June 1st. But if you're smart enough to be here or smart enough to be watching in, be smart enough to make this fix as soon as we
If you're a FedEx shipper and you watch the news, they're splitting FedEx Ground and FedEx Regular, and so this is tangentially related to that. But yeah, just keep an eye on it so that in June your FedEx shipping doesn't break. So let's talk about what's coming after March and April. So 26 release 2 and beyond. So this next thing is how many of you have had the Shop Pay experience on a Shopify site where it recognizes, it's fingerprinted your devices, it says, oh, hey, Rick, and it sends you a text to log in. And so if you have that experience, and so as a merchant, you might think, oh, I want this because it's going to increase conversions. As a consumer, I hate it because it's creepy. But again, the world doesn't ask me its opinion before it does things. And so I am very, very happy that PayPal has the same feature. They call it Fastlane. So what happens is they fingerprint your device, they recognize your device, they send you a text, they confirm it's you see your little wallet, and then you can check out. And so this is our answer to Shop Pay. It will be out this summer in Miva Pay and probably also in PayPal. I'm not sure if it's in both or just Miva Pay, but it will be out this summer. And it's ultimately a very accelerated checkout to increase your conversions. So really helpful on mobile. It allows returning customers, and PayPal actually has a bigger database of customers than Shop Pay, and so you really will have an incredible network effect using this product, and you own the relationship, not a third party.
Let's talk about some of the other stuff we're working on and we're building out and thinking about. There are a lot of parts of Miva, like collections, like landing pages, like page builder, that can be somewhat disconnected, and merchandising too. There are a lot of powerful merchandising features out there with some of the add-on products, and we are looking at how we can bring those to Miva in a very efficient way. We want to create more of a flow. Let's go to the next slide. We want to create more of a flow where you might create a collection, or you might say, this category should be ordered in this order, should be boosted, should be pinned, all those kind of paradigms, and then just go straight to, let's put this group of merchandising products straight into Page Builder instead of having to back out. Or let's turn that into a landing page. Or let's reorganize this category. Or let's take this common search term, and instead of using actual search, let's bounce people to this category. So all of this kind of merchandising world we are digging into. Next slide, please. And looking at things like badging. So we're looking at how this works with margin awareness too, like how we should prioritize all these features to leverage the margin awareness data that you're starting to work with. So all of this is in flux. We always like to do a sneak peek here. And we usually do pretty well with delivering what we sneak peek. However, we also have a vision.
Well, yeah, so I'll add a little bit to the merchandising V2. So some commentary I've received is that like, hey, every year you get up at Camp Miva, if you're around long enough to remember what I promised in 2008, that took me like 12 years to get to. And so we've gotten a lot better at that, but we wanted to get out of the cycle of, hey, we set it in March, so we've got a whole year of commitments. So what you're really seeing is, we're going to show you what's shipping like imminently, things that are effectively in final testing and final building, and then we're going to start illustrating what we're thinking about. When it comes to the merchandising V2, we were really excited to get agentic or prompt-based merchandising out because it scales so well and it's really beneficial. But for our more sophisticated customers, especially if you're using a third-party search platform, you probably have a slew of rules. When someone searches for X, don't show Y, boost this, pin that, and we hadn't built those features yet. So a lot of this is really focused on kind of feature parity with some of the legacy Elastic-style search providers. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so let's talk about agentic checkout. And so we're building agentic checkout into Miva Pay and PayPal as well in this case. The thing about agentic checkout is I think the word's a little bit of a misnomer here. What this really means in current day speak is LLM checkout, that you're on a surface. It could be Copilot, it could be ChatGPT, it could be Gemini. Those are the three main ones right now. It could be Perplexity. So there's kind of 4 places where you could be having a chat interaction and then you'd be able to check out real quick. And so this is what it works like. Thanks, PayPal. So this was just one of the videos we got to choose from, but I really want to spend a moment here on what all this means. So right now there are 3 competing standards for agentic checkout. They're all basically identical to each other, but one's Google, one's Microsoft, one's OpenAI. And so PayPal has wisely, and really all of these are either going right now through Stripe or through PayPal. And so there's kind of 2 choices for checkout payment via these LLM surfaces. And so PayPal has released something called Agentic Commerce Services. Is that the right term for it, Kunal? ACS. So we have recently finished the legal work, and so we're building ACS. And so the video is really slick, but what it really means is that you'll have a single setup, and then your products can be purchased anywhere they're showing up with those feeds. And so we have a breakout later with Nick showing how to get your feeds into LLMs, and so we've been spending a lot of time on this here at Camp Miva. Other than using AI to make you more efficient, I would say you should really be spending time on thinking about how people are going to discover your products via AI. And we are going to be there with you, lockstep, making sure that your customers can check out, whether it's on your website or on an LLM surface, any way that you want them to check out. So cover it?
Okay, yeah. One other thing, we have this sliding pane now for AI insights. We will make that smarter about the whole store. So what could I do to...
What could be like, how do I configure a coupon?
Yeah, how do I create a coupon? And it will leverage the AI chat we already have and more, and start to just give you those helping things. And it's meaningful. I mean, you know AI is smart. You can ask ChatGPT anything, and it will come up good suggestions. These good suggestions are in the context of everything it knows about Miva. Just as a segue, I could stand here and tell you 2 years of things that we could build and that are currently in an order. I don't know if anybody ever creates a vision board. You know a vision board? When you put all your photos of everything you want on this board and you look at it every morning. What you're supposed to do is put the words across the bottom, this or something better. And I just want to assure you that when we sit down and we meet, we are looking at that list and constantly thinking this or something better. But we have a vision, and I don't want to stand here and tell you we're going to build this if the vision comes up with something better.
I'll tell you this. You know, we have Hippie Nick and East Coast Nick. If we had 2 Kiefers, he would definitely be Hippie Kiefer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, brother. You did great. Quick time check to make sure we're going okay. We've got about 15, 20 minutes, and then we will let you use the restroom and get coffee, so hang with me if you can. So let's talk about the AI commerce vision. At the end of the day, what is Miva? It's a margin-aware and LLM-ready commerce OS designed to get you real business outcomes, aka profit. So here's what happens right now when you have a fragmented system that's just designed to allow you to accept an order. It's not going to have a real-time data layer that knows all the data from your ERP. It's going to be app-based, so it's not going to know all the things. Volume pricing might be over here, subscriptions might be over there. They're not in a central place. And all that fragmentation and data loss causes your platform, if that's your platform, to be able to fail to help you make good decisions. And so this is why we think margin awareness is so critical to be a primitive, right? You have to have the right data in the decision layer to take action. And I will a little sneak peek behind the curtain. One of our board members has been talking to Kiefer and I about margin awareness for, I think, 3 years. And when he first said, well, let's do this, and he had this vision for margin awareness, and I said, that's a great idea, but we don't know X, Y, and Z, and we got to build A, B, and C. And he's like, okay, so do it. And so this may sound like, oh, I have never heard you talk about margin awareness before. Where did all this come from? This has literally been something we've been piecing together for years. It started by making sure Page Builder was everywhere. It started by making sure Miva Connect was everywhere. It started by adding Vector. And now, with those 3 foundational layers set, you can layer margin awareness into your business and have a new outcome and make more profit. So I hope at least one of you, but I hope many of you come back next year and be like, I made more money this year than I ever have because of this. That is our goal for you. And ultimately, Miva is architected for agentic commerce. It's not happening yet. And when I say agentic, I mean like open cloud, buying you a trip. But what is happening is the architecture is being set. And so we're in a process of moving from business context, the rules about your business, to setting up the rules of engagement with the agents, to ultimately making sure you can be found. And then the final stage of all this as Skynet goes live is to make sure you can control your agents and not destroy your business when it's mad at you. Be nice to the AI overlords. And so ultimately, we are taking you on a journey from transaction enablement, which is, hey, I have a book up here, so I'll show it. Hey, I want to buy this book, give me some money, to really a true business intelligence platform that knows what makes you more profit and how to get there via an automated system. And it's ultimately built for your business. It's D2C, it's B2B, it's in one place, focused on helping you succeed. And we really think that in order to make AI that works for your store, you have to have LLM native product discovery, natural language buying experiences, and all of that. To make all of that work, it's about schema data. How many of you know what schema data is? It's a decent number. So it's all about schema data. Make sure you have great schema data. If you have no idea what schema data means, use Shadows and Page Builder, and we'll make sure you have great schema data. And so these are the pieces enabled to make sure that you speak to the LLMs. And what it does for you, these are the outcomes we expect you to experience by executing on this strategy. Higher margins, better revenue quality, lower total cost of ownership, and ultimately we are your partner in getting a faster AI adoption because you have a life. I said this at the beginning, but you have a life, you have a business to run, you have a million things to do. You probably are not going to be experimenting with AI at the very cutting edge and trying to apply it to your business. And even if you were, you don't own a software company to do it. So we are your partner in all that. Because ultimately, Miva is a margin-aware, AI-native system built for the next generation of commerce. And so that's what we're here for you, where margin and profit are the ultimate KPI. So we have something new to announce today. We have a lot of new to announce today, but so is this live, Nick? So if you go to docs.miva.com/MivaLabs, Scraps was here. She'd get on me for not having a QR code. Yeah, but Miva Labs is where we have new things, things that are available for your business today that can make your life easier. So let's dig into what's there. So we have a new advanced XML feed. And so if you use our forums at all, you may see a lot of questions. Leslie specifically, for those of you who know Leslie, loved to ask questions about getting the Google feeds. We have tried to solve that in a universal way. So we have a new advanced XML feed that is downloadable and it works for Google Merchant Center, Meta, TikTok, Gemini, OpenAI, and Copilot. So this is the data layer to get your products into pretty much everything that matters these days. Anything I should add to that, Nick? Okay, so download it. If you have technical questions about it, hit up Hippie Nick. How many of you guys know what N8N is? Anyone other than Nick? All right, so, and people who went to the developer session. So N8N, how many of you know what Zapier is? Few of you know what Zapier is. Okay, so I'll start there. So Zapier is a product you can buy that it's essentially a kind of point and click piping between A and B. So you can set up Zapier and you can say, hey, you can even do a personal thing. I could have a Christmas card list in Google Sheets. I could have a print shop. I could connect them with Zapier, and I could have minted.com connected to Zapier, and I could do my Christmas list via Zapier every year. And it's cute. N8N is what we consider Zapier for grown-ups. So it's very high performance, workflow automation. And so if you have detailed questions about N8N, Nick is your guy, but I can tell you that it allows you to build visual intersections or applications by connecting apps. And so what it's for, how many of you have been around for a long time and you have some sort of custom PHP to do something? And so I'm sure I see 10 or 15 hands. We get why you do, but David Hubbard would like to talk to you about that because he'd like you to stop. There's so many problems with running an old PHP script. First of all, you got to keep them updated because many of you are probably running something on PHP 5 or on PHP like 7 or 8. And what happens when you let a script sit around for a long time? Well, there's vulnerabilities, and script kiddies can take over your script, and they can take down your site, they can DDoS you, they can spam you, they can do all sorts of things, they can potentially get your data. So this can replace all of those things with automated imports that you can point and click and see, and you can inspect everything and log everything. And ultimately, it takes these integrations from custom-built things to reusable, maintainable, non-technical customer owned. So you, the shopper, or you, the merchant owner, if you have a PHP script, and no offense, Andreas, but if you're paying Andreas to maintain it, you probably don't know what the secret sauce is in the PHP script. This pushes the control back to you. So if you have questions about N8N or how to use it or how to apply it to your business, thanks Andreas for being a good sport, talk to Nick. Next, I've talked about Claude Cowork. By show of hands again, how many of you use Claude Cowork? It's been a few minutes. Okay, so Claude and also Codex, which is ChatGPT's version of Claude Code, have what's called skills. So what is a skill? Skills are a markdown document that tell it how to behave in this particular instance. And so the thing with AI tools is they're useful, but if I were to go, especially a few months ago, if I were just to go to ChatGPT and say, build me a plugin for Miva, there was a 10 or 15% chance it might give you something that could work. There was a reasonably high chance it would just write something that looked like code that did nothing. And why was that? Well, it didn't have instructions about what source code to reference. It didn't know the template language or the flex component structure. And so it would create generic, imprecise code. So what did we do? We have built an AI-powered flex component generator. It is downloadable right now on Miva Labs. So you can, if you're a ChatGPT person, you can go get the Codex one. If you're a Claude person, I prefer Claude, but if you're a Claude person, you can go get the Claude one. And they're just a little text file, and you just import the skill. You go into Codex or Claude Code or Claude Cowork and say add skill, and you just click it. It'll ask you questions, and it will help you build a flex component. And so this is all the technical stuff of what it does, but it literally builds something that will work on your site in minutes. In fact, we're doing a hackathon here, so if you want to get $100 by being the most creative application of this, talk to Nick as well. I know he's covering that in his breakout session. But I've been around Miva now so Miva started in 1997, and I knew them because I was neighbors with them, but I've really been in the Miva universe for 28 years. And I've run the company now for 19 years. And so in all this time, I'm a reasonably technical guy, but I'm not a coder. I'd never, ever, other than changing some HTML and CSS to do really minimal things, like change a logo, I had never done anything that would be approaching coding. And so my employees know I'm up to something when they start getting a lot of slacks on a Saturday or Sunday because I'm experimenting. And so about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I started hitting Nick up all weekend. I don't actually expect you to respond on the weekends. It's just because my memory is crap. And so I will forget everything by the time I think to Slack you again. And so I started experimenting and having Claude write me a Miva module. And so Nick and I took that concept, and Nick's like, hey, let me test having it build flex components for Page Builder. He's like, this works. So then we turned that into a skill, and now we're here. So this is something on my demo store. If you have seen any of the Ask Waynes where I use Yellow Tea as my demo store, I sat down and said, hey, what if I wanted to turn Yellow Tea into like a Woot style site where I have deals of the day or deals of the week, and I can have multiple deals, and I can set a countdown, and I can set a call to action. And so I coded my first Miva component. And I guess I coded it in a sense because no Miva coders touched it. And so I asked it a prompt. I'm happy to show you the prompt if you care. And this is what it builds here. So Kiefer was using this thing. So this is Page Builder here. So this is the visual of what it looks like on the store. This is Page Builder here. So I can give it a heading. I can choose how many products and alignment. I can set a countdown timer. This thing was so smart. It said, hey, what happens when it expires? Do you want to keep showing it with a message, or do you want it just to hide? I never thought of that, so I said, yeah, let's make it hide. So it added a little prompt for that. It uses our color picker, all of our other pickers. And so I now, on Yellow Tea, I think it's still up right now. If you go to yellowtea.com, you should see this at the top. And so it's my deals of the week. And this is just something I made up. Like my first version of this was, I just wanted a little countdown banner for, hey, act now, don't miss, Labor Day sale is about to end. And it did that really well. I was like, oh, where can I take this? And so if you want to enter the hackathon, you can win $100 before we leave. But more important than that, you, the merchant owner, using Claude, Cowork, or ChatGPT Codex, you can now write public-facing, usable page builder components for your store based on your imagination. And I would tell you from doing it that all you really need to do is know the thing you're trying to get to, build it, throw it on a branch or a test store, click all the buttons, make sure it does the thing you want. There will inevitably be things that you want to be different, not because it did it wrong, but because you didn't think to ask. Go back and ask for that thing, and it'll give you a new version, and a new version, and a new version. And normally it takes me 4 or 5 iterations to get something that I'm like, oh, this is really cool. So this is available now. You can download this from Miva Labs. I encourage you to play with it. This one is coming soon. So how many of you know what an MCP server is? Few. So MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. And so we have this internally, but we're getting it all packaged up to release externally. Going back to making sure AI has the right context. Well, what will this initial MCP server do? Because there's really going to be a lot of future applications for MCP servers that we'll be doing and our partners will be doing. But the first place to start is giving it Miva documentation with all the references and our limited source code kit. And so let's say someone built something custom for you a few years ago and they're gone. You don't know anything about it. Well, you could ask Claude or Codex to debug it for you and fix it, and it will. And so MCP is really the language of chat. And so what it gives, it's like the pre-built instruction set for the two systems to talk to each other. PayPal has a MCP, I don't know if it's actually public or just demoed, but they have one for Venmo where I could tell Claude, hey, tell Kiefer he did a great job today, send him $50. And that's where this is all going. And we're not far from a world, and we will support you in this world, where if you're, where someone could just say, hey, go to JBugs and order me this, or go to Lotus Sculpture and order me that. And then it'll say, do you mean this one or that one? It'll show you pictures, and then you could ultimately check out. So that's where the world is going with MCP, and we're very, very excited about it. So I swear we're almost done. Let me see what time we got. Oh yeah, 5 minutes. So if I don't get to a lot of questions today, I'm around all weekend. I have breakouts. Feel free to catch me. But I have a couple more announcements and closings, and then I will let you get some coffee in the restroom. So I mentioned this last year. If you were here last year, I played like an audio demo of a customer service chatbot. And so it's been brewing, and we've been working on it, but we've had a lot of products to release. And so we're introducing what we're calling Miva Maven. Maven is, I asked Claude to help me name this, but Maven is expert, if you're not familiar with the kind of context of it. And it's ultimately your 24/7 AI customer service helper. So here's what it can do. It does exist right now on yellowt.com, and it is ready. And it allows you to do product discovery, order tracking, returns, personalized recs, all through a chatbot. Edwin, where are you at? Stand up. So if you look over here, that's Edwin Wu. He's with Bot Dojo. He's their CTO. They're our partner in this product. So if you want to sign up for the beta and play with it, go talk to Edwin or go to the website. It will cost something when it comes out, but frankly, until we know how many tokens these things are using, we don't even know how to price it. So right now it's just free, and when we eventually price it, if you don't think the price is worth the value, you can just cancel it and turn it off. I will tell you this, we're gonna aim to price this thing to save you time and money, so it should be a great value. But if you wanna use this right here and now, talk to Edwin, he can get you set up, or go to the website. In addition, I know some of you have already done these, but we're doing Miva Voice of the Customer session. So what is a Voice of the Customer session? It is a 20-minute session where you, with a third party, which is the guy we call East Coast Nick, and his partner Tom. They don't work for Miva, but they're doing a project for us. So you get 20 minutes with them. They're gonna record it. You could say great things about us, you can bash us, you could do whatever you want. It doesn't matter, but it does give you an opportunity to have a voice in what's next. So what will we give you for the 20 minutes? Well, we'll give you a Miva Yeti, and we'll give you $50. And so if you want to do this and you're already signed up, great, you don't have to do anything. If you want to do this and you're not signed up, I think we have a few spots left. Go see Angelica at the sign up booth. Okay, so we had a lot of content today, like a ton. This is probably the longest slide deck we've done. And so I just want to really circle back on what I think the key takeaways are from today. First, we saw what was coming and we built for it, which is what our job is for you. So we are just focused on keeping you ahead of the market and ahead of the curve so you don't get left behind. How many of you have been selling online since at least 2010? So many. So we'll take a quick time travel back. 2007, iPhone comes out. Somewhere around 2008, as the screens weren't even really getting bigger yet, but people were like, oh, someday you'll shop on this. And the common wisdom at the time was, no one wants to type on that crappy keyboard to put their address in. But that is so short-sighted, because what happens when things like Fastlane come out? What happens when Apple adds autofill to all the browsers? What happens when Apple Pay comes out? There's so many things coming to solve for that problem. What happens today? Something like 60% of D2C e-commerce is done on your phone. So what was 15 years ago dismissed as no one's doing this, it's a pain, is now the way we do it. And that's gonna be true for AI. Second takeaway is margin awareness built for you. Our goal is to help you make more money. This is how we're doing it. And we think this is really unique to Miva. It doesn't mean it's impossible to do elsewhere, but we think data fragmentation and other things are going to make it challenging to really have a nice universal insight. And ultimately, these are things that are happening here and now. For the 4 customers I mentioned in the Vexter case studies, those 4 customers alone had a 15 to 57% revenue lift. Our Black Friday merchants were up almost 3x market. And things are just getting faster. Whether it's getting modern on a Lightning build or us releasing great software every 6 weeks, it's faster. So we're going to drive the car faster. We're going to do it in a way that benefits you and your business. So with that, I would really like to thank our sponsors. Our sponsors are kind of around the back of the room and here at the event. Please go visit them. This event cannot exist without the sponsors. I think most of you probably paid somewhere between $99 and $150 to be here. Our cost of food for this event is like $180. So, and that doesn't count staff and time and all that stuff. So if all we did was sell prices, tickets, and we didn't have sponsors, our tickets would be like $1,000. None of you would come, the event would go away. So our sponsors are why this exists. And we only partner and sponsor with people who are committed to customers, committed to value. We have a lot of new faces this year. Ordoro's here this year. They have a new integration to Miva. And pack size, they have really cool large machines if packaging takes up a lot of your time. But literally talk to everyone, from Avalara to PayPal to UBS. Talk to everyone here. Thank them for the sponsorship. When you're having free drinks last night and tonight, it's on them. And so we really appreciate them. So with that, if this is your first time, how many of this is your first time at Camp Miva? Is there a few? Oh, there's a decent number. So if you've never either met me in person or been through this process, I really do like talking to my customers. I know that's kind of a platitude people say. I really like it. And so just email me. And if for some reason I don't respond in a reasonable time, you're welcome to email me again. You're not going to bug me. I like to interact with customers because I have a different view of both the market and Miva than even our employees or our merchants, and I like to be able to triangulate. So that's me. Brennan is the second email on this. Bill, who you met earlier, is the third, and Kiefer is the last email in order of presentation. So